Hi there, welcome to edupediaworld.com. You're watching the videos on lines and angles. So in this video we'll discuss what are lines and angles and what are the uses of lines and angles, and we'll discuss how what is the practical use of lines and angles. So basically we'll discuss introductory part on lines and angles. Then we'll discuss what some of the basic terms which you are already familiar. You must have done it in the previous classes also, and we have also discussed some of the terms and definition lucid geometry in the previous videos also. So, but we'll extend some of the concept of that terms in this video also. So then we'll discuss what are collinear and non-collinear points, how the collinear and non-collinear points are useful in lines and angles to solve the questions, and what's its practical use, how you can use it further. Then we'll discuss different types of angles, what is an angle, what are the different types of angles, how these angles are used in geometry, and how you can implement the theorems and everything. So we'll discuss each and every concept through example, whether it be practical example or mathematical example. We'll discuss each and every concept through example. So let's get started with the first concept, which is introduction to lines and angles. So you have read in the previous classes, or you have watched in the previous videos also in lucid geometry, that any 2 points, when we join any 2 points, that makes a line. So it's a basic concept, and this concept is very useful nowadays, and it will be useful further also in whatever application in mathematics or science we design. So whenever we join the 2 points, like this point and this point, we make a line. So again, the concept of angles is same. Whenever we join a three non-collinear points, we'll discuss what are non-collinear points. Whenever we join, or you can say whenever we join two different lines, that makes an angle. Means, like, we can say that this line is inclined to this line at some degree, so that is an angle. So this is some of the basic definitions of lines and angles. Now, what are the uses of lines and angles? Now suppose you have seen that there are roads being constructed on highway or somewhere else in the city. So actually, the engineer or civil engineer, whatever, whosoever the person is designing the roads, they actually use the concept of lines and angle. Suppose they want to turn a road around a 60-degree angle. So they will use the concept of lines and angle. So lines and angles are used in everyday example, everyday life. Suppose if we want to build a hut, or you can say if we want to construct a building or a new house, then again the constructor or an architect or any constructor worker, whatever may be, it will use the concept of nine lines and angles. Again, if you want to build a you can say a room, then he will use the concept of 90-degree angle, whatever may be the case. So again, lines and angles are used in everyday life, whether be it's mathematics or any science. So lines and angles are used in every field or every part of the world. Or let's take another example of science. You have studied in the physics that ray of light travels in a straight line. So each and every concept of lines and angles is also used in concept of light in physics, that ray of light travels in a straight path. So actually they use this concept to you can say to build several technology like solar system or everything. They use a lot of concepts to draw these examples. So again, we can say that one another example is, you can say that nowadays we have dish TV. So again, they use same technology, lines and angles. They incline your terminal at home at certain angle, terminal at your home at certain angle, to main satellite to transmit the signal. So these are the some of the practical applications of lines and angles. So lines and angles are used in almost every part of the field or every part of the world. So let's get started with our next concept, which is what are collinear and non-collinear points. Now, collinear points and non-collinear points, very important concept. If three or more points lie on the same line, they are called collinear points. Otherwise, they are called non-collinear points. Again, the concept is, suppose these are the 3 points. Now, if these 3 points lie on same line, means we can, if we can join these 3 points like this point, and this point. If we can join these 3 points with a straight line, with straight line, then these points are known as collinear points. These are known as collinear points. Now, if we have 3 points like this, and if we join all these 3 points, now we cannot join all these 3 points in a single line because they are not inclined to a same path, or you can say in a straight line. So these are known as non-collinear points. Means this point, this point, this point. So these are non-collinear points. So this is the basic concept of collinear and non-collinear points. So this basic concept will be used further in lines and angles. So keep this concept in mind. So let's get started with the next concept, which is angle. So what is an angle? Now it is very important part. So angle is formed when two rays originate from the same point, means two rays originate from the same point. Suppose this is a origin point, this is origin. If one rays go like this and second rays goes like this, so we have two rays, let it be L and M, and they are originating from the same point. Two rays originating from the same end point, the rays making an angle are called the arms. Now, if the two rays are originating from the same end, now and they are inclined to some degree, as we have discussed in the previous video or in the last slide also, they are inclined to each other at some degree. So this is known as angle. And this part, these rays, these part, you can say these are known as arms of an angle. Arms of an angle. And the end point is called a vertex, means this point, this end point, this point, this point, these are known as the vertex of an angle. So this constitute an angle, this is known as angle. So angle has three parts, which is, one is degree of inclination, which is an angle, and it has arms, which is the length of the sides of an angle, and the end points, which are known as the vertex of the angle. So let's move on to the further concept, which is types of angles. So we have different types of angles, as you have done in the previous classes also. Acute angle is an angle which is less than 90 degree, means this angle can be any angle between one, or say it can be any angle between we can say it can be any angle which is greater than, it can be any angle greater than 0, and but should be less than 90, means it can be any angle, like you can say between 0.1 to 89.9. So it can be any angle, so but it should be less than 90 and greater than 0. So these are acute angles. Now the angles which are exactly 90 degree, these are known as right angle. And generally note that 90 degree angles or right angles are always represented by this straight box. So you have to see the symbols very carefully. See the symbol very carefully. So this is right angle triangle, right angle. Now an obtuse angle is an angle which is greater than 90 but less than 180, means you can say 90.01 to 179.99. So it can be any angle between these two parts. So these are known as obtuse angle, or simply the angle which is greater than 90 and but it should be less than 180. Now straight angle is an angle which is 180 degree. Actually straight angle is an angle which is simply a straight line, because straight line has angle 180 degree. So we can say any straight line like this, its angle should be 180 degree, or this, its angle should be 180 degree. So that's why it's known as straight angle. Reflex angle, so very important concept. Reflex angle is an angle which is greater than 180 and less than 360. Now to simplify the concept, let's say we have an angle like this. This is an angle. Suppose this is an angle 70 degree. So if anybody asks you find the reflex angle of 70 degree, so what you will do is you will do say like this: reflex of 70 degree will be 360 minus 70, so it will be 290. So this is a simple concept. So reflex angle is an angle which is outer part of an angle, or we can say, and you subtract any angle from 360, you will get the reflex of that angles. So that is a simple concept of a reflex angle. So let's move on to further concept, which is adjacent angle. Now these type of angles are very important from lines and angles point of view, so you have to grasp the concept very carefully. Now adjacent angle, suppose we have an angle, here the angle is ABC. Now first let me tell you how you can represent the angle. So angle sign is represented by this angle. This is a symbol to represent angle, and these are the endpoints, or you can say vertex of angles. Now the middle part like B over here is actually an vertex of an angle, means it actually represents the angle. It actually represent the angle. So you have to be very careful while writing angle. Suppose we want to write this angle, so we'll write angle D B. Why B? Because this is actually angle, so angle vertex is B, so it will be D, B and C. So this is how you can write that angle. Same angle can also be represented by angle C B D. So the angle vertex should always be in the middle part. It doesn't matter where you start the angle. So this is the basic concept how we can write the angle. Now let's come back to what is an adjacent angle. Suppose we have an angle over here, like say angle A B C. Now we have another angle in between the adjacent angle, that is angle, we can say D B C, and we have one more angle in between the angle ABC, that is angle B, you can say angle ABD. Now we can clearly see that angle ABC can be represented as angle DBC plus angle ABD. Means this complete angle ABC can be represented as this angle 1 plus angle 2. So but these two angles are separated by a common arm known as BD. So these type of angles are known as adjacent angles. So this is a concept of adjacent angle. Suppose we have another angle like this, and we separate this angle by another common arm like this. Let it be A, B, C, and let it be D. So these two angles, this angle and this angle, becomes an adjacent angle. Why? Because they are separated by a common arm. So that's why these two angles becomes an adjacent angle. So this is a concept of adjacent angle. Now let's move on to the next concept, which is linear pair of angle. Very important concept. What is a linear pair of angle? Now first of all, linear means line. Pair means two. Of an angle means two angles. Means two angles on a line. Linear pair means two angles on a straight line. So it's as simple as it, the meaning of the angle. It's a linear pair of angle, means two angles on a straight line. Suppose we have a straight line AC and we have a common point B over here, and we draw a ray BD onto this straight line. Now this straight line AC now is divided into two parts, which is angle ABD and angle DBC. Let me tell you again, this straight line AC is separated into two parts by a ray BD. So it makes two angles now, angle ABD and angle DBC. So these two angles, angle ABD and angle DBC, make a pair of linear angles. So this is a concept of linear angles. As we know that angle on straight line is always equals to 180 degree. So this implies is if we add angle ABD plus angle DBC, means if we add this angle and this angle, this will represent a straight line. So this means sum of angles, this means angle ABD plus angle DBC will be equals to 180 degree. So it's a very important concept, and we'll solve a lot of questions using this concept, and there is also a theorem on this concept. So let me tell you the what is the concept, that sum of pair of angles on a straight line is always equals to 180 degree, means sum of linear pairs, or we can say sum of linear pair is equals to 180 degree. So it's a very important concept. So let's move on to the next concept, which is vertically opposite angle. This is also very important concept, and it is mostly, or we can say very frequently used in geometry or in lines and angles. So you have to watch this concept very carefully. Vertically opposite angle. Suppose we have two intersecting line AB and CD, and they intersect at point O. So the two opposite angles are, you can see clearly, opposite means it should be facing towards one another, means like this, it should be facing towards one another. Two opposite angles can't be right like this. You cannot say that these two angles, these two parts are opposite. We can clearly see that this and this are opposite part. So same concept applies in vertically opposite angle. Suppose we have two intersecting line AB and CD, and they intersect at point O. So we can clearly see that this angle is opposite to this angle, means angle AOD is opposite to angle COB, and this angle is opposite to this angle, means angle AOC is opposite to angle DOB. So these are vertically opposite angles. And again, vertically opposite angles are always equal, means we can say that angle AOD will be equals to angle COB, and angle AOC will be equals to angle DOB. So this is a concept of vertically opposite angle. Now consider one more situation. Suppose we have two intersecting like this, and there is one more line, we can say like this. So can we say that this angle and this angle are vertically opposite angle? You have to watch this this part very carefully. Like this, these are the two lines AB and CD, and let's say we have E line also, and this is a intersection point of these lines. Now can we say that angle DOE and angle AOC are vertically opposite angle? No, these are not vertically opposite angles. Why? Because to be vertically opposite angles, the lines should be same. So we can clearly see that angle AOC is made by the lines AB and CD, means angle AOC is due to lines AB and CD, but angle, we can say angle DOE but angle DOE is due to lines CD and OE. So you have to watch very carefully. To to be a vertically opposite angles, the angles formed by the line should be same. So like if angle AOC is formed by the line AB and CD, then if the angle DO is formed by the lines CD and OE, then these two angles, angle AOC and angle DOE, are not vertically opposite angle. So you have to watch very carefully while using the concept of vertically opposite angles. So this is all about the types of angles, lines, and some of the basic concepts and types angles like adjacent angle, vertically opposite angle, and linear pair of angle. So thank you for watching this video on edupediaworld.com. Keep watching further videos. Have a nice day ahead.